How long have you lived in Aurora?
I've lived in Aurora since 1931, Yonge Street North. My father bought 8 acres up there in 1931, and I grew up there and went to school in Aurora, public school and high school.
And you moved to Aurora from Hamilton. What was that like?
I was born and raised, or I should say, I was born in Hamilton. Well, I stayed there for about 6 months, and then we moved to Toronto for a couple of years, and then my father was with General Motors, and he used to travel all across Canada, so he bought this property, as I say, up in Aurora in 1931, and I've been there ever since.
Okay. So what was it like going to Church Street School?
It was very good. In those days, of course, the school started at 9 o'clock in the morning, and I used to walk to school back and forth and come home for lunch. My mother would always have lunch for us. I have had 3 brothers and a sister, so we all went to the Church Street School, and every day, as they say, we walked back and forth to school, and then good weather, we'd ride our bicycles. But we had a good time. It was grade 8, and we had a lot of fun at public school.
Good. And can you tell me about working at the Pontiac Buick dealership?
Oh yes, well, back in 1948, after I was in agricultural college for a year, my dad pulled me out and said, "Bud, I want you to come and help work in the Pontiac Buick dealership in Aurora," which was one of the first ones we ever had in Aurora. So I left OAC in Guelph and came back and worked with my dad for 10 years. I was on sales, and I was the automotive mechanic, for part-time mechanic and service manager. Pretty well jack of all trades for 10 years, and then my father sold the dealership.
Okay. And then you opened BD Gilbert Insurance?
Yeah, that was under my dad. My dad's name was Burton Dean Gilbert, and my correct name is Burton Doan Gilbert. Mm-hmm. The Doans are the ones from the Quakers up in Yonge Street North in Aurora, or in Newmarket, I should say. And so when I came along, they called me Bud instead of Burton. But that was the dealership, was BD Gilbert.
Insurance?
Or no, I'm sorry, did you say insurance?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm going back to car business.
That's okay.
Yeah, the insurance, I started up, we bought out a brokerage in Aurora, Harold Graham and I, which was my neighbor and cousin's drive. In 1963 it was. We bought this brokerage with General Insurance. And I had a license to sell General Insurance, and my wife, June, was also licensed. And so we carried this business on for 25 years in 96 Cousins Drive, and it was a very successful business that we had, and I sold out in the year 1998. We sold the business, and I retired that year.
And you were very involved in the Aurora United Church as well?
Yes, brings back old memories. Boy, oh boy. Yes, so when we first came to Aurora in 1931, of course I was 4 years old, 4 or 5 I guess it was, and my mother and father were United Church people, and they brought us all to the Aurora United Church in our younger days, and I stayed there on the church, and I was on the church board, and I attended Sunday school there, and I was a trustee, or I should say, I am a trustee today, but prior to that I was on the board with other members of the church, and we looked after the ushering and a lot of the general running around of the church in those days. And the church grew and grew, and it was really good. And all my children that were born were baptized, and out of my 5 daughters, four of them were. I walked up and down the aisle in the United Church, which brings back old memories. Boy, oh boy! It was a great place, and we met a lot of people, and we really enjoyed ourselves. And my wife enjoyed going to church as well. And my father and my mother both had funeral services there, and when my wife passed away 4 years ago, we had a funeral service for her at my church, and it brings back old memories. And it's very, very sorry to see that church gone today, but I understand it's going to be rebuilt within 2 to 5 years, they tell us.
That's good. And in 2005, you were named Aurora's Citizen of the Year.
Yes. 2005, yeah, that was a great year. It was quite a surprise because in those days they used to have meetings around in the town office, and my daughters and my wife said, "Come on, Bud, you got to go to this meeting and meet some people and get together." So I went, and I had no idea whatsoever. So they read this I was going to say announcement. They read this breakdown of what I had accomplished in the town of Aurora, because I was on the school board for 8 years, and I was a past president, I should say, of the Lions Club, and past president of the Aurora JCs, and I've been a member of the Rising Sun Lodge, or Masonic Lodge in Aurora, for 64 years now. So all this was all read out as being one of the better citizens for the town of Aurora, of which I was quite proud to be of. And it was a good year, and we had a lot of fun.
That's really great.
Yeah.
And when reading through your file, the thing that seemed the most important to you was raising your family in Aurora and meeting your wife.
Yes, yeah, I met my wife at the dealership when it was actually on a Sunday, and because we had to keep it open for to sell gas, and she came in with a friend of my brother and sister-in-law's in a car, and they introduced me to her in 1949. It was in June. Graduated from the TGH hospital in Toronto in 1948. We got married in 1952, which was a very, very quiet wedding. Just our good friends in Toronto, man and wife, the Foxes, stood up for us. So we went and got married on a Saturday night in Toronto, and it was quite a surprise to my parents. But that's how I met my wife in 1952, which was the start. And we, as I say, we had 6 children, and they're great to have families today. And now we have 10 grandchildren and 1 great-grandchild that was born November the 9th last year here. So he's going to be just about 1 year old, and another big celebration. Lots of fun.
Congratulations on
yeah,
that's a lot.
Real surprise. But yeah, he's quite a guy, only 1 year old, and my wife always wanted to have a great-grandchild, but I'm sorry she didn't live to see it. But however, life goes on, and we really enjoy it.
That's good. Can you tell me more about the things you used to do with your kids in Aurora that were more specific? Do they play sports, things like that?
Yes, we used to go skating in the arena, and they used to have they still do outdoor skating rinks in Aurora, And then I bought a snowmobile back in 1974 when the twins were 10 years old then, and I used to take them back through up over the railroad tracks, the old CNR tracks at the end of Cousins Drive there, and I take them at night or in the daytime, and we used to have a lot of time. And then one time, lots of times when the snow was deep, we used to tie a toboggan behind the car and go up and down the streets, of which you could not do that today for sure. But those are the good times, and we had great neighbors, and we used to have corn roasts and parties and stuff, and we had a big garden on Cousins Drive and grew a lot of vegetables and beans and carrots and beets and corn, and we used to have quite a bit of corn, but we had the shepherd's bush, which was not too far from where we lived, and the raccoons used to come in at night and help themselves to the corn before we did. But however, we finally got used to it, but no, we had a lot of fun with the kids, and they enjoyed going to school. They went to the Wells Street School, which is only a few blocks from where we lived, and that school now is being changed to condominiums. It's being all rebuilt for condominiums now. But we had a lot of fun with the kids, and we used to rent a place up at Lake St. Peter and take them up there for 2 weeks in the summertime on this lake, and had lots of fun with them, swimming and boating, and that's where they learned how to swim and have fun and enjoy life.
That's really awesome. And yes. I think my last question for you is, what is your most memorable moment of life in Aurora that you can think of right now? I'm sure there are lots.
Oh, yes. When you think back all the years I've been here, my wife and I have had lovely time, and we used to do a lot of traveling all through the Europe and England and Ireland and Scotland and out west, and we traveled after I retired in the year 2000. We used to do, as I say, travel, and all our kids were healthy, and we really enjoyed every one of them. But there was a little downfall we had on our Nancy, which was our third daughter. She had brain cancer, and she died when she was 46 years old. But she was a great gal, and had 3 lovely granddaughters that she left for us, and they're great gals today. So life was very good for the Gilberts in Aurora, and I can't help but think what a good time, and with my wife being gone now for 4 years, it's hard, but life goes on. And being here at Hollandview is a great place to be, and this is 5 years now I've been here, and I just live day by day for it and look to see what's going to happen the next day. And everybody is just a great privilege, and I can't say more for Hollandview, because my two of my daughters brought my wife and I over here 5 years ago and said, "Now, Bud and June, you'd like it here," and we sure did. And we looked at it, and we put our condominium up for sale and made a big move, and we never looked back. And my wife said, "This is home," and she was very happy here. And however, as I say, life goes on, and yeah, it's a real privilege.
That's great.
So I thank you very much.
Thank you so much for sharing all this with us.
It's
really great stories. It sounds like you had a very full life.
Yeah, that's true. And as I say, I tell people here, live day by day, because you never know what the next day is going to bring. And
Yeah.
Boy, oh boy, when I'm 86 now, and I'll be 87 on November the 30th. So, and as I say, it's great, very great.
That's great.
Thank you ever so much.
Thank you.